You guys wouldn't believe how many takes this has been. But this is the one for sure. Jip here, week 3. I even took down some notes um, for a script, but I don't know if I'm gonna stick to them. All right, this video wanted to record it really quickly because I think I'm gonna be a bit busy the next couple days in the evening, so um, I wanted to get this out. And basically, I think there's two things I want to do in this video. The first one is I want to yap a bit, and then the second part of it is going to be me yapping some more by responding to the YouTube comments. So in the last two videos. And actually looking back at those two videos, I was I must say I was in quite a negative mental headspace. I think the move initially for me was quite overwhelming, as I've mentioned before. And for some reason, the last couple days, I've kind of, well, I know the reasons, but I won't go into them. But I've been feeling better, and I'm feeling a bit more settled in, and so much so that I actually, I've been kind of thinking I really would like to stay longer than 3 months. I think this is the first time, by the way, I find it again, like I know all of you guys have your own life stories. We all have our life stories. And so I understand this might come off a bit as like cringe or a bit childish. Um, but I must say for me, uh, in the spirit of sharing what's going on, this trip for me is really my own thing. I think the first time in my life that I'm really kind of doing my own thing. And it's kind of dawning on me that I really want this to work. In the sense of, I really want to kind of feel like I lived in Korea for a while. And so I actually really want to stay a bit longer, I think, because I would like to learn more Korean. And I'm enjoying kind of building my own little life here and my own little rhythm. For many of you who might not know, and I would like to keep this a bit more private. Not because it's anything crazy, but just, I tend to overshare anyway, but I don't want to overshare online too much, like in these types of videos. Um, but I mostly live with my my mom and my grandmother at home, and my grandmother's actually like 93, and she's awesome. She's still doing fine. But I like staying near her to kind of help her, if that makes sense. You know, because I imagine when you're at that stage of life, the only thing you really do have is kind of family. And so for me, it's been very important to be around my family. But so much so that I think I have kind of neglected my own um, desires. And so not to get too therapeutic or psychoanalytical, but just kind of sharing with you guys where I'm at and why I'm kind of thinking, wow, I can't believe I went into this, but this is kind of why I'm uh, thinking I really want this to work. And so it's a bit of a coming of age for this middle-aged man, as it were. Uh, so there you go. Now you know this is the take because I overshared. But anyway, that's besides the point. I think the other, so I would like to build a bit I would like to build my stream. The big thing that's been kind of hanging and looming over me is my performance in StarCraft. I've just been playing like absolute shit, and it's been very hard. It's been very hard. Um, excuse me. It's been very hard, and there's many reasons for this. And I have to say that I think the biggest thing is that I know that I'm partly responsible because I did kind of randomly announce, like, hey, I'm going to Korea. And my intention wasn't to kind of put a spotlight on me or anything like that. I genuinely just have been streaming and playing Brood War, and I just kind of wanted to come and play here. Uh, and I didn't really have any other intention other than I was getting poor games at home and I wanted to come and play here. And I think this kind of exploded into, you know, people kind of picking interest and wanting to see like how I do here. And honestly, a lot of this has put on so much pressure towards me. And I'm kind of constantly in a state of feeling judged and evaluated every single day, every single time I turn on my stream. Like, how's Jib doing? Like, and honestly, I'm getting pretty much blasted. Um, and to be honest, I think I'm not doing so well. And then sometimes I'll read some comments. Like I read, even from someone that I know. It's like that I just I know there's this take that like somehow I'm delusional or like I was delusional or like I thought I was better than I am and I'm kind of facing a reality like that kind of stuff, and that really sticks to me and it really bothers me, because I don't think that's the case at all. And I've been playing about as well as I normally play. But one thing is, so okay, as it turns out, Koreans are very good at Brood War, and it's very competitive here. It's very competitive, and Turn Rate 24 is a completely different beast, completely different. And everyone here, all the Korean players are so good. Like, I don't know, this isn't something that you can really put into words, but the competition is insane here, and the level of focus required to play at this level is you can't. People like to think Brood War is like a mechanical game. It is mechanical, but it is very uh use like very brain using. Like you cannot play Brood War without thinking. It's just not possible. So imagine having that level of mechanics and then that level of decision making. And focus is a very hard thing to come by, especially for me, who, as you guys can tell, mentally I have a lot going on. But also changing this whole environment and also kind of exposing myself and putting myself in public view. And me just being a pretty self-conscious person in general. And also I've been playing in a PC bang, so like I'm not even playing at home in like the comfort of my home. There's a lot of small things that kind of work against me sitting down and focusing. And it's not to say, these aren't excuses. This is just the reality that I'm facing. And I feel like I've just been underperforming quite a bit. And it's been very stressful for me. Very stressful. I've had like a couple breakdowns actually. Um, but um, it's just been hard. It's been hard. But I think that over time I can kind of get to a place where I want to be. But it's still gonna take some time. And I guess like that is to say that, and part of why I want to do this second part of the video where I'm gonna read some YouTube comments and kind of go through them, um, is because I know that on stream I'm very like in a particular mood, and there's people that have a lot of questions, and in a sense I would like to answer them, but when I'm sitting down and trying to focus and trying to like really play, I do not have the mental or the emotional space to answer random questions that have nothing to do with anything, and that are just kind of curious personal questions. And so I think to tie this section up, I still want to grow my stream. I'd like to hit a certain number of subscribers, uh, and like maybe donation goals. I'm not sure, like, honestly, guys, I would like to monetize the stream, such that I can continue my stay here and focus on the stream and like focus on my life in Korea. But I also don't want to overly monetize it, as a matter of principle. So like I don't know if I want to show like a donation like stretch goal, and I don't know if I want to like constantly say like let's hit this sub goal, whatever. Because also I could go on a rant about how gift subbing isn't like the best and etc. Like Twitch is troll as fuck. Um, but anyway, that's another point. I would like to grow the stream, and so there's two kind of things where on the one hand, like competing here is very demanding and it's very difficult, and it's not very congruent with streaming, at least not in the way that I like to do it, because I like to actually read my chat and respond to people rather than ignore them. I think most streamers that are successful, I've said this before, but I think most of the content creation medium selects for a certain level of psychopathy, where the more you're not bothered by how other people feel or experience or perceive you, the better you'll do. And I'm like the antithesis of that. Like, really, I read almost everything that's said, and to a fault almost. So, not because I'm desperately, desperate about how people feel about me, but just because I know there's another human being on the other side, like taking the time to try and interact with me, um, in good or bad faith. Yeah. So this one side of playing Brood War is very hard, and then the other side is and not congruent with streaming. But the other side is I actually do enjoy streaming. Like I do, I've been watching my VODs, and I think it's kind of a cool vibe. This guy just gaming and PC bongs and trying hard, and I've been blasting music to drown out the sounds of the PC bong because again, there's so many distractions there. Uh, so yeah. Anyway, that's the update. Um, let's read some comments. I'm gonna read all of these comments and try to respond to them. Uh, there's a lot of compliments, which I really do appreciate. Xenosky, thanks, man. Here, Rabbit Roo. Hey, Gypsy, I had no idea about your journey to Korea until I dropped by your stream today. Everything I said about you in past casts were based on what I was. Apologies for being ignorant. So, Rabbit Roo, if you're watching this, thank you. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like haven't watched all of your stuff, so don't worry about if you said anything. I mean, I say shit all the time about people, um, and it is what it is. But I appreciate the kind words, man. Enjoy your life. Love to follow. Okay, I'll try and just look through questions. Maybe I should have done this before. You gotta learn the language immerse. Yeah. So this person says, in my opinion, you gotta learn the language, immerse yourself in Korea's brood war culture, and find a connection to the scene. No point traveling across the globe, foreigner except in Korea. Like maybe go out with Scan as he talks English. All the best. Yes, I do want to learn the language, but as it turns out, um, learning a language is a lot like adopting the culture as well. It's not just something that you can on-demand command. And as you guys know, as there are many idiosyncrasies about the Western culture and English speaking culture that are less than desirable, there are some of that in Korean culture as well that in other words, like I think there's a trap with foreigners in any country where on the one hand you know feeling like a foreigner is not pleasant, but on the other hand, overly sacrificing your uniqueness to try and fit in into the monolith of that culture is also not something that I'm particularly interested in. But you know, overall, I do agree, Chewy. I do want to learn the language eventually, and I would like to integrate myself. But this is asking a lot. So let's see if I can stay long enough for that. So in general, guys, there's a lot of compliments. Thank you. Um, Pretty private guy. Appreciate you. Sorry, I actually realized that going through all the comments is gonna take forever. So I'm trying to, and I don't want to like read all the positive stuff because oh, it's a bit. I appreciate the support. I just want to actually answer some of the questions. Uh, so lived abroad. Yeah. So okay, this wasn't too bad. Thanks for the comments, guys. I think this video had a couple more questions. Nice update. I think I feel I feel like such a dickhead reading compliments like this. Uh, Great update. You immerse in as far as our updates. Can you describe the places you're playing in? Have we found how big are they? How many computers? Atmosphere is it loud? Do they serve food or walking distance? How much does it cost? Are they busy? Okay, so I get a lot of these questions about the Pichibang and stuff. Pichibangs are fucking awesome. They're just big. They're everywhere, literally everywhere. I mean, there's like six in the radius of the one I'm going to, and they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're as popular as like karaoke rooms, like norebangs or whatever. Um, and it's so cheap. You can make I made a little, I signed up, like I made a membership, and now I'm paying like ton one, 1,001 per hour, basically, which is less than $1 in conversion, US and Canadian both, and whatever, euro, etc. So it's very cheap. It's very convenient. The connection is really, I mean, it's just amazing. It's huge. It's huge. There's like hundreds of computers in every PC room, more computers, and there's so many people that go. There's so many people that go, and all kinds of people. I mean, not just guys, not just DGens, but like, well put together people, and a lot of girls actually go and they play even alone, or in couples or even groups of girls I've seen play. And people are asking me like, which games do they play? I'll say a lot of sudden attack, Overwatch, and League, PUBG, Teamfight Tactics. Very little StarCraft, if it's very rare to see someone play Brood War, but it's and FIFA. Brood War, you still see it a couple times, but just really mostly League, Sudden Attack, Overwatch, sometimes Valorant. They just love Riot Games. Um, yeah. Uh, I mean, it's loud, yes. Do they serve food? Yes, they have good food. And it's cheap, less than $10 per whatever you want to get. And there's a bunch of food, like junk food. Like, they basically make you instant ramen, or like they make you frozen meals. But they have like basically part-timers working there, and they're open 24/7, and these kids basically just cook and serve you, and you can order from your computer and you can pay with your credit card. Actually, if you're Korean, it's way more convenient because they have you can do all this on your phone. If you have like a Korean bank account, whatever, so you can just like scan QR codes and like pay for everything, and they'll just bring you food, um, bring you coffee, bring you hot chocolate, whatever, anything. Um, just obviously, it's not like the most like the healthiest options, but it's not like bad. I mean, food in Korea is generally very good. Um, are they busy all the time? No, they're not that busy. So I hope that answers it. Why you kick my dog here? This guy kicked my dog. He's an awesome dude. I met him at that Philadelphia land. Hope you're doing well, buddy, man. Thanks for uh, thoughts. All your thoughts about feeling pressure to do it well, especially when you're putting yourself out. All resonate strongly. Definitely feel the pressure. Show good games, being B rank. Yeah. Um, experiencing at a higher intensity, higher stakes. You see, this is the only thing I'll disagree with you. I think in life, we like to say that we like to measure things, but I don't think there is such a thing. Like, I think we all experience the same kinds of feelings. You know, there's a universal human experience, and we all have access to it. And so I wouldn't say, don't put yourself down like this in terms of, I understand that you're sharing your experience and you don't want to come across as maybe feeling like you know exactly what I'm going through, but I think a lot of you guys probably know exactly what I'm going through. I don't want to say no one's ever experienced these things, so um, yeah. But thanks for the the comments. For yeah, I remember. It was actually better when it's cold as fuck. Yeah, the air quality, I've I've put I've put it together. The winters here are either very cold, and that's been another thing that's been hard. Like the weather's been so cold, and it's weird because like, at home I get like -20 whatever. Here it's like -10. So it's not that bad. But the fact that like at home, I just stay at home or I can just use the car and like stay warm and whatever. But here I have to kind of go out all the time, and it's just been so fucking annoying. And after a turn like when it's not cold, the air quality is really bad, like 150 AQI, which is like about as bad as it gets. So I had to buy some masks and stuff. Um, yeah. Since you have a soup now, I was wondering, are you planning on being more active there? Yeah, so I've actually been streaming on YouTube and on Soup now. So every time I turn on my Twitch stream, uh, I'm turning on YouTube and Soup, and I'm getting some Korean viewers, and I think that's awesome. And I really want to talk to them, and I want to make an effort to talk to them in Korean. So um, Soup, obviously, I think on YouTube because I've been streaming for a while. Like, and apparently Scan told me like even my stream popped up in his recommendations. So I think like it's somewhere there in the StarCraft algorithm. So I'm getting more viewers, but on Soup it's probably just never gonna be a thing, but I'll still be streaming on there. Met with Steve Jung. Does Steve Jung is actually yeah, have met Steve Jung, and he's really funny. He's a really funny guy. I really like him, and he's so kind. He has such a kind soul. He has such a kind soul. You could potentially point out best games, stream VODs, video. Yeah, I haven't been too happy with how I've been playing. In these videos, could click timestamps. That's too much. Yeah, I could do this type of content creation where like I pick videos or like I show games or highlight games that I play. But right now I'm mostly just really focused on trying to do better and perform at a level that I'm content with. And until do that. I don't really like putting myself out there because I know how I'm really performing and it's not to my liking. Um, Artosis the cast. Yeah, I think Artosis will probably just keep looking at my seawall or whatever. So, um, Goosehead. It's interesting how one's perception must have during a few weeks. I hope you can find more permanent place. Yeah, uh, Goose, I totally feel you. I think I'm getting to that point. Going from the Baron Weissman, an eye-opening experience. The Great Tony, yes. Actually, like I said, it's been very hard. People here are so good and so talented, and I think, one thing which I don't want to get into too much, but when we export culture, when culture gets exported, and especially in the West, we tend to fetishize like aspects of particular cultures. So I've noticed like people have a certain perception of like what StarCraft is in Korea and what PCbangs are, and when really it's like they try to separate it from the rest of the culture, but really it's kind of like one thing within it. And anyway, not for this video, but yeah, it's been interesting. A long time will give us day to day. Day to day, I go on. Nah, I'll keep that. That's a secret. 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 Try not to worry too much expectations. Yeah, but um, it's more about like what I want from myself and what I know I'm capable of. You know. Paul Proust. Yo, thanks, brother. You've been such a huge supporter, man. I really deeply appreciate everything, man. Really. I hope you know I'm very aware. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Miss the mic. Yeah, with the mic, like on in the PC bongs, like you know, there's a lot of degenerates that just yell and scream and curse, and there's a lot of non-degenerates that are quiet and are mindful of others. And unfortunately, I'm pretty mindful, and I don't want to just sit there and yap in English loudly, and I don't want to draw attention to myself because like already no one really brings their stuff. Everyone just uses the keyboard and the mouse, and I come in, I have like this bag. I take my mouse pad out, I take my mouse, I got this USB hub, and then I put a webcam on top of the monitor, so it's like it's pretty obnoxious. And on top of that, like I don't want to also just start like talking and like being all this like streamer personality in that room. So just a different kind of stream. I hope you guys can understand. Um, Highlight over. I think maybe eventually I might, but maybe when I start doing better. Particular goal. Uh, Not really. I just want to do well. Want is that you stream when you feel like it, do a vlog. Thanks, man. Martin. Thank you. Um, yeah, I'm trying to pace myself. Sounds like a big change of life, but already meeting up with people. Dragon's Hill Spa. I will look this up. How many people play PC Broodborn PC Mongs? Not many. UMS. I've seen mostly people play Fastest and BGH or whatever hunters. Kitchen. No, I have my own little room. I have everything in my Airbnb, but it's pretty small. But it's good. I like it. I don't have enough space to cook, even though I have a stove. But I cook breakfast and stuff. Goals on my journey in game. Can try for Katie Finger Bloom, hanging out with Scarlet and all the other guys. Dude, okay, why did I even read this, man? Uh, I guess the biggest question people have been having is what are my goals? Listen, I think I genuinely still think I'm capable of actually doing quite well, even relative to like the really good players here. But it's probably going to take much more time, and it's going to take me getting acclimated to the environment properly such that I can focus and not have so much mental clutter, mental stack with respect to other things. I don't think my skill level is necessarily there already. Obviously, it's not. But I know, like, I would be more than willing to admit that I'm just a potato, and I am a potato. But I know right now I'm not doing as much as I can. I'm not performing as well as I can because there are so many things getting in the way of my focus. And I know that's objectively the case. So I would like to, but to give a definite goal, like people are asking, Jip, you're gonna play in the qualifiers, ASL. Like, yeah, I'll play in the ASL qualifiers, but I'm gonna get fucking destroyed. Like, it's not, uh, you know, that's not a question. So, um, but if I stay longer, if I acclimate better, I genuinely think I can get into at least the ecosystem of like the spawn games and stuff. And I mean, I already, like I mentioned, I already played really good players and like I've taken games off them in like the worst conditions. Like these guys are playing at home. They have everything, they don't have to think about what they're gonna eat later. They can just I'm playing in this public room where there's people yelling, there's people like slamming their mouse when they're playing FPSs, and I feel it, that's all distracting. And every day I have to think like, okay, where am I gonna eat? Uh, and then, I turn on my stream and there's always all these people watching, and like I know people are looking to see like how well am I gonna do, blah blah blah. So, you know, it's been that's really it. It's been hard, but I feel like I'm acclimating and I hope to keep making these types of videos. Okay, let's cut it there, 30 minutes. I mean, I'll say this is acceptable because I answered all these YouTube questions. I'll try and keep this shorter next time. But if you've watched this whole thing, there might be something wrong with you. Thank you.